Today I released my NFL Mock Draft 4.0. Before I get to that, I'm almost at 200 subscribers, and I said in my last video that I will do a Q&A video where you guys, the people, ask questions either in the comments section below or you tweet me at them at JBTalkSports or with the hashtag AskJohnny, AskJohnnyB, or hashtag JBTalks. So far, I only have one question. That's from Mason Talks. So, if you have questions, leave the questions in the comment section below. Now, I'm just going to tell you who the picks are. I'm not going to explain them. If you also want to know why I think somebody will go here, for example, why do you have Joey Bosa going here? Comment below and I'll answer it for you. I just got to make this a quick video today. I have the Titans, Laremy, Tunsil, out of Ole Miss. Number 2, I have the Browns going with Carson, Wentz. Number 3, the Chargers going with Ronnie, Stanley. Number 4, the Cowboys, Joey Bosa. Number 5, the Jaguars going with Jalen, Ramsey. 6, the Ravens going with Vernon, Hargreaves III. 7, Jared Goff. 8, the Dolphins going with Myles, Jack. 9, the Buccaneers going with DeForest, Buckner. 10, the Giants going with Noah, Spence. 11, the Raiders. This is a trade, by the way. The Raiders and the Bears trade picks, and the Raiders go with Mackensie, Alexander, cornerback out of Clemson. Number 12, now this is a pick that AJ will probably like, that follows me on here, and we talk a little bit on Twitter. Robert Nkemdiche out of Ole Miss. Number 13, the Eagles going with Paxton, Lynch. I don't know if people like DZ will like that one. Number 14, the Bears going with Jack Conklin, the offensive tackle out of Michigan State. Number 15, the Rams going with Laquon, Treadwell. Number 16, the Lions going with Corey Coleman, the wide receiver out of Baylor. Number 17, my Atlanta Falcons going with Shaq Lawson out of Clemson. Number 18, the Indianapolis Colts going with Taylor Decker out of Ohio State. Number 19, the Bills going with Reggie Ragland, linebacker out of Alabama. Number 20, the Jets going with Eli Apple out of Ohio State. The 21, the Redskins going with Jalen Smith out of Notre Dame. Number 22, the Texans going with Ezekiel Elliott. Number 23, the Vikings going with Braxton Miller, the wide receiver of Ole Miss. Number 24, the Bengals going with Sheldon Rankins, the defensive lineman out of Louisville. 25, the Steelers going with Kendall Fuller, cornerback out of Virginia Tech. Number 26, I have the Seattle Seahawks with Will Fuller, the wide receiver of Notre Dame. Number 27, I have the Packers with Kevin Dodd, the defensive end out of Clemson. At 28, I have the Chiefs going with Jason Spriggs, the offensive tackle of Indiana. Number 29, I have the Cardinals with Vernon Butler, the defensive tackle out of Louisiana Tech. Number 30, I have the Panthers going with Cody Whitehair, the offensive guard out of Kansas State. Number 31, rounding out the first round, of the Denver Broncos going with Emmanuel Ogbah, the defensive end of Oklahoma State. And just to give a little gift, normally the NFL draft is 32 picks in the first round, but because the New England Patriots decided to deflate some footballs, they don't get a first round pick this year. So this is the start of the second round, but this is still first round talent. But at number 32, the Cleveland Browns select Josh Dotson, the wide receiver of TCU. So far, the Browns would have a pretty strong draft out of their first 2 picks with Carson Wentz and Josh Dotson. So Browns fans, comment below of what you think of those 2 picks. In fact, anybody comment below of what you think about your team's first selection according to my mock draft. And is there anybody that's outside of the first round that should be in here? Also comment that below. Even though I don't think anybody will. But I will explain a couple of picks because I feel like some need explanation. Now the Cowboys drafting Joey Bosa number 4. In my last mock draft, in fact, out of all the mock drafts I've done, I've had Joey Bosa going number 2 overall. But the Cleveland Browns, they'll decide they need their quarterback. Unless, of course, Sashi Brown contacts the head coach for North Dakota State asking why nobody went to Carson Wentz's birthday party. By the way, that is just a joke from Draft Day. If you haven't seen it, you got to see that movie. It's a great one. Kevin Costner is great in it. Should have won an Oscar. And then at number 6 with Vernon Hargreaves, the third of Florida, I just feel like the Ravens just need some help in the secondary position when you're having to intercept passes from Ben Roethlisberger and Andy Dalton twice a year apiece, you need some secondary help in there. With the 49ers going with Jared Goff, I know that Chip Kelly is trying to make a push for Colin Kaepernick to stay in San Francisco, but I like them to draft Jared Goff just because they need somebody to compete for the quarterback position in San Francisco. Then with the Saints drafting Robert Nkemdiche, I feel like this is a solid pick for the Saints. Even if Robert Nkemdiche isn't as promising as people think he will be, the Saints just need to make a move on this position. They need to risk it all. When you're playing Matt Ryan, Jameis Winston, and Cam Newton twice a year apiece, meaning that's 6 total division games, you need to put that pressure on those quarterbacks, and Robert Nkemdiche is the guy that can put pressure on them. And with Paxton Lynch going to the Eagles at number 13, well, the Eagles are trying to get Sam Bradford to stay in Philadelphia, but I don't necessarily think Sam Bradford will be the guy that takes the Eagles to the promised land. So I like him to take a chance on Paxton Lynch. He kind of has Brock Osweiler size and Ben Roethlisberger and Andy Dalton accuracy. Number 15, the Rams went with Laquon Treadwell. This is a pick that they would want to draft Paxton Lynch here, but all 3 of the quarterbacks are off the board. And there's no point in drafting Connor Cook or Christian Hackenberg or anybody else, any other quarterback in round 1. I feel like the Rams will be able to invest in a quarterback in later rounds. But right now they needed to get the best thing, and that was a wide receiver. And that's why Laquon Treadwell is going to be the top receiver in St. Louis. Not St. Louis, the Los Angeles Rams. I keep messing that up even though I don't know when they're officially moving to LA. I don't know if it's next year or the year after that. I'm just used to saying St. Louis for some reason. Then at number 16, the Lions go with Corey Coleman. Now this is the replacement for Calvin Johnson. They need to find somebody that can replace Calvin Johnson. And Corey Coleman has the speed. He has some great tangibles for being an elite wide receiver. He's got the size like Calvin Johnson. He can go up and catch some one-on-one jump balls. I like that to be a good fit. At number 22 for the Texans drafting Ezekiel Elliott, there's a good chance Arian Foster's not going to be on the Texans roster next season. And they're going to need a running back because Alfred Blue is not the running back of the future. So they need to take advantage of what they can to get Ezekiel Elliott. Number 23, the Vikings went with Braxton Miller. This is a wide receiver for Teddy Bridgewater to throw to. Teddy Bridgewater needs another target. They need another target besides Stephon Diggs because Stephon Diggs can't put the wide receiving group on his back. Sure, they have Kyle Rudolph, but they need a wide receiver that can turn into an elite wide receiver. The Seahawks went with Will Fuller at number 26 overall. Will Fuller had some great speed at the combine. I think he did well in the combine. I think he really shined, improved his draft stock. In my opinion, I had him middle of the second round. I think he's going to go up because teams are going to want to need wide receivers. After the retirement of Calvin Johnson early, I think other teams are getting paranoid that they need to get wide receivers right now. Especially the Seahawks, because the Seahawks don't really have elite wide receivers other than Doug Baldwin. Jermaine Kearse is good, but he didn't do much this season. And Jimmy Graham missed the second half of the season. And I feel like a player like Will Fuller is another weapon for Russell Wilson. Number 28, the Chiefs going with Jason Spriggs, the offensive tackle of Indiana. Now, Jason Spriggs had a great NFL combine. He just did outstanding, impressive statistic for an offensive lineman. And I think he improved his draft stock to go to a late first round. He's on a playoff team. The Chiefs will definitely be able to compete for the AFC West next season. Number 30, the Panthers with Cody Whitehair, offensive guard of Kansas State. Now, as you saw the Super Bowl, the Panthers did not look great in the offensive line position. Cam Newton was on the ground most of the game. They need to draft an offensive tackle to protect Cam Newton for next season. And number 31, the Broncos with Emmanuel Ogbah. I know that the Denver defense is really outstanding, but Von Miller, Malik Jackson, Danny Trevathan, all 3 of them are free agents this season. And I do not see Denver being able to keep all 3 of these guys, because it's going to blow up their cap space, and they're going to need some. And I feel like drafting Emmanuel Ogbah is the perfect position for him right now. Because I have a feeling that either Malik Jackson or Danny Trevathan is going to be on a team like the Oakland Raiders next season. That is my prediction. Let me backtrack a little bit. Number 21 overall, the Redskins draft Jalen Smith, the the outside linebacker out of Notre Dame. Now, he failed a lot of examinations at the NFL Combine. Team speculated he was going to be out for the 2016 season. But there's two things with this situation. One, the Redskins is a team that needs to risk finding defensive help because the Cowboys hope Tony Romo's healthy next year. And plus the Giants are going to have Eli Manning to Odell Beckham. And plus the Eagles are going to try to get back on the right track. And I think the NFC East is going to be so competitive, the Redskins need to take a risk in drafting a weapon on the defensive side of the football. Even if he can't play next season, I think it's going to work out for him next year. Moving forward to the 32nd overall pick, I know it's a second round pick, but it's first round talent. The Cleveland Browns going with Josh Doctson. Josh Doctson has speed to be an elite wide receiver. He may not be the best wide receiver the NFL's ever seen, but I feel like he'll be good to lead the Cleveland Browns to some victories. To have Carson Wentz and Josh Doctson as two draft picks with first round talent, it'd be an A+ for the Cleveland Browns to have. I'm going to backtrack again a little bit. I'm going to backtrack to the Falcons drafting Shaq Lawson. Now, being a Falcons fan, this is kind of something I want. I want him to draft a pass rusher because we've had problems with pass rushing the past 3 seasons. The defense has not looked great the past 3 seasons. Technically 4, because the Falcons played an easy schedule the year they lost in the NFC Championship game. And I feel like we're one pass rusher away from becoming legit Super Bowl contenders. And I think Shaq Lawson is a guy that would fit Dan Quinn's scheme, and plus he's going to be reunited with Vic Beasley. The Steelers going with Kendall Fuller, the cornerback out of Virginia Tech. I feel like the Steelers can use this pick for secondary purposes. Because the Steelers are going to struggle in the secondary position, I have a feeling, if they don't draft a cornerback in at least the first 2 rounds. If the Steelers don't draft Kendall Fuller, then I would not be surprised if the Seahawks, instead of drafting Will Fuller, no, Kendall Fuller and Will Fuller are not related. It would not surprise me if they drafted Kendall Fuller if the Steelers pass up on him at 25 for him to draft at 26, because there's a possibility that Cam Chancellor will not be on the Seahawks roster next season. Anyway, that's my video. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to my channel for more interesting videos. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you in my next video.